Have you ever wondered what was happening behind the scenes of your favorite Bible stories? We all know the famous tales of faith, miracles, and epic battles. But what if I told you there's a whole other layer to these ancient figures, a world of espionage, secret missions, and lives that were far more complex than we ever imagined? Today, we're diving deep into the untold stories of biblical figures, and covering the saints, the sinners, and the spies whose secret lives could rival any modern-day thriller. Let's start with a name you definitely know, Joshua. We remember him as the one who brought down the walls of Jericho. But before that legendary battle, Joshua was a spy master. Think about it. Moses sent 12 spies to scout the land of Canaan, and Joshua was one of them. He and Caleb were the only two who came back with a positive report, showing not just faith, but incredible courage and strategic thinking. Fast forward, and Joshua is now the leader. His first move, he sends two spies into Jericho. This wasn't just a casual look around. This was a high-stakes intelligence operation. These weren't just scouts. They were undercover agents. Their mission was to gather crucial information on the city's defenses, morale, and potential weaknesses. And where do they end up? Hiding out in the house of a woman named Rahab, who lived in the city wall itself. Rahab's story is fascinating. She's often described simply as a prostitute, but she was so much more. She was a shrewd operator, a risk-taker, and ultimately, a ally. When the king's men came knocking, she risked her own life to hide the spies, misdirecting the search party with a clever lie. She wasn't just helping strangers, she was making a calculated choice to align herself with a new power, securing her family's safety in the process. Rahab was, in essence, a double agent who defected. Her actions saved the spies and provided Joshua with the critical intelligence he needed. She proved that sometimes, the most unlikely people become the greatest heroes. Now, let's talk about another master of deception, Jacob. We know him as the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. But his early life reads like a playbook on cunning and trickery. The story of him stealing his brother Esau's birthright is famous. He used his brother's hunger and impulsiveness against him, trading a bowl of stew for an inheritance. That's a cold, calculated move. But he didn't stop there. With his mother Rebekah's help, he disguised himself as Esau to trick their blind, elderly father Isaac into giving him the patriarchal blessing. He put on goat skins to mimic his brother's hairy arms. This wasn't just a little white lie. This was an elaborate con, a full-on identity theft to secure his future. Jacob's life was a constant series of strategic maneuvers, often blurring the lines between right and wrong. He spent years on the run, constantly looking over his shoulder, a testament to the fact that his choices had serious consequences. He was a survivor, using his wits to navigate a dangerous world, even if it meant being a sinner to become a saint. And what about the women who operated in the shadows? Let's consider Yael. Her story, found in the book of Judges, is short but incredibly intense. The Israelites were being oppressed by King Jabin, whose army was led by a fearsome commander named Sisera. After a surprise attack by the Israelite forces led by Deborah and Barak, Sisera's army is defeated, and he flees on foot. Exhausted, he stumbles upon the tent of Yael. She welcomes him and offers him milk, and gives him a blanket to hide under. He thinks he's found a safe haven. He asks her to stand guard and lie if anyone comes asking for him. He feels secure and falls into a deep sleep. But Yael had other plans. In a shocking turn of events, she takes a tent peg and a hammer and ends the threat of Sisera permanently. It's a brutal, decisive act. Yael wasn't a soldier or a prophet. She was a homemaker who saw an opportunity to deliver her people from a tyrant and took it. Was it a betrayal? Yes. Was it an act of espionage and assassination? Absolutely. She used hospitality as a weapon, proving that courage and cunning can be found in the most unexpected places. Then there's Hushai, a character from the story of King David who might be one of the cleverest spies in the entire Bible. When David's own son, Absalom, staged a coup and took over Jerusalem, David was forced to flee for his life. It was a devastating betrayal. Most of David's advisors either fled with him or switched sides. But David had an ace up his sleeve, Hushai. David told Hushai to stay in Jerusalem and pretend to pledge allegiance to the new king, Absalom. His mission was to become a mole, a double agent inside Absalom's inner circle. Hushai played his part perfectly. He approached Absalom and declared his loyalty, convincing the ambitious young king that he had switched sides. Soon after, Absalom held a war council. His top advisor, Ahithophel, who was brilliant, gave him some excellent advice. Attack David immediately while he is weak and on the run. This would have almost certainly worked. But then, Absalom turned to his new advisor, Hushai, for a second opinion. This was Hushai's moment. He masterfully spun a tale, arguing against Ahithophel's plan. He flattered Absalom's ego, reminded him of David's legendary skill as a warrior, and proposed a different, much slower strategy. He suggested gathering a massive army from all over Israel, with Absalom leading them personally, to ensure a glorious, undeniable victory. Absalom, blinded by pride, loved Hushai's plan. He rejected the wise counsel of Ahithophel and chose the flawed strategy of his secret enemy. This delay gave David and his men the precious time they needed to escape, regroup, and prepare for battle. Hushai immediately sent word to David through another network of spies, warning him to cross the Jordan River. Hushai's brilliant counterintelligence operation single-handedly saved David and his kingdom. He was a true spy master, using psychology and deception as his primary weapons. These stories show us that the Bible is filled with more than just prophets and kings. It's filled with real people facing impossible situations, using every tool at their disposal to survive and triumph. They were spies, strategists, and survivors. Their secret lives, filled with risk and intrigue, remind us that the pages of history are often written by those who dare to operate in the shadows. The saints, the sinners, and the spies of the Bible show us that faith isn't just about prayer. It's also about action, courage, and sometimes a little bit of holy espionage. What do you think? Are there other biblical figures who you think led a secret life? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this journey into the hidden corners of the Bible, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more Untold stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.